Ever wonder how a homegrown, domestic brand manages to completely conquer a massive, rapidly emerging market? Especially when they're going head-to-head against some absolute global heavyweights. Well, that's exactly what we're going to deconstruct in this explainer today. We're diving deep into the anatomy of a market leader, and our subject is the absolute powerhouse that is Voltas.
If you live in India, you instantly recognize this phrase, right? India ka AC, or India's air conditioner. But here's the thing, this towering reputation isn't just about some catchy marketing tagline. Voltas is part of the Tata Group, and in the Indian market, that backing establishes an immense, almost immediate sense of consumer trust. They aren't just selling you a cooling appliance, they're essentially selling a trusted household name that people have relied on for generations.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our analytical roadmap for today. We're going to hit 1. The cooling king of India. 2. Knowing the target customer. 3. Nailing the marketing mix. 4. Becoming India Ka AC. 5. Strengths, weaknesses, and threats. And finally, 6. The future of cooling. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what makes their strategy tick.
Section 1. The cooling king of India. They really are a home appliance powerhouse, taking their massive dominance in ACs and leveraging it to expand into refrigerators, washing machines, and beyond.
Moving to Section 2, Knowing the Target Customer, or our STP analysis. Listen, Voltas knows exactly who is sweating across India. Now let's be honest, in the middle of May, that is literally all of us. So the crucial point here is that Voltas isn't just boxing themselves into one niche. They're capturing the entire spectrum. We're talking about families making that huge milestone of a first AC purchase, right alongside your standard working professionals and homeowners. But they're also aggressively going after Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, where purchasing power is just exploding. And let's not forget the massive commercial clients, hospitals, offices, hotels. They've positioned themselves as the go-to, value-for-money brand for quite literally everyone. Section 3. Nailing the marketing mix. Let's move on and see how this actually builds together into a cohesive strategy.
Let's completely de-jargonify the classic 4 Ps of marketing. For product, they offer the whole shebang, from split ACs to smart IoT-enabled units and full-scale commercial HVAC solutions. But look at price. This is the absolute linchpin. Their competitive pricing, backed by easy EMI financing and strategic seasonal discounts, is the glue that connects their huge product range to their place. And their place happens to be one of India's most massive distribution networks, covering exclusive outlets, multi-brand stores, and e-commerce. Add in promotion, where they go unbelievably big with IPL cricket sponsorships and festival promos, and you see how affordable pricing acts as the ultimate bridge between a solid product and an inescapable network.
But I want to make one thing crystal clear right now. Affordability for Voltas definitely does not mean cheap. Actually, it's quite the opposite. They are continuously rolling out highly customer-centric, energy-efficient tech. We are talking about innovations like AI adaptive cooling, built-in HEPA filters for indoor air quality, and even geofencing technology. They're managing to deliver premium, smart innovations without slapping the customer with an overly premium price tag. That is a game changer.
Section 4. Becoming India Ka AC. This is where we examine how they aggressively shift the narrative in their favor. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the competitive divide. On one side, you have the Voltas strategy, affordable pricing, proud Indian heritage, and that unshakable trust of the Tata Group. On the exact opposite side, you've got international competitors leaning heavily into premium pricing and a polished global brand positioning. Voltas practically weaponizes its local roots against those premium strategies. It makes the international brands look, well, perhaps a little out of touch with the everyday Indian consumer's reality.
Think about your own scrolling habits in the ads you get served. Voltas ensures incredibly high brand recall through a hyperlocal, omni-channel digital marketing strategy. Obviously, they dominate the screen during the IPL, capturing millions of eyeballs. But they also get super granular. They run data-driven regional campaigns triggered by specific local weather patterns. If a heat wave suddenly hits a specific state, boom, Voltas is right there on connected TV and digital platforms. They pair that with their long-running India Ka Dil, India Ka AC campaigns to make sure they are constantly top of mind.
Okay, so it sounds like a completely flawless victory, right? But here's the big question. Is the king's crown actually safe? Is this massive market dominance completely bulletproof? Let's take a closer look.
Section 5. Strengths, weaknesses, and threats. Time for a quick SWOT analysis to objectively break down the vulnerabilities hiding behind that massive market share.
Let's walk through these threats step by step. First up, despite all their expansion, they still rely heavily on seasonal AC demand. Meaning, if we get a mild summer, that's a direct, immediate hit to their sales. Second, they face absolutely fierce global competition from giants like LG, Daikin, and Samsung who are hungry for that market share. And third, fluctuating raw material costs. Since their entire strategy hinges on affordability, pricier raw materials make maintaining that price advantage a really difficult tightrope walk.
Finally, Section 6, the future of cooling. Let's pivot back to the horizon and explore their growth opportunities.
Now, what's really interesting here is the perfect growth storm brewing for the brand. Overall, AC penetration across India is rising steadily. Couple that with aggressive expansion into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, a surging demand for smart home appliances, and increasing disposable incomes. All of these macro factors align perfectly with what Voltas is already built to do best.
If you take nothing else away from this explainer, remember this specific formula. Their core advantage is that unbeatable combination of trusted Indian heritage, affordable pricing, and unbelievably wide distribution. They balance traditional media with cutting-edge digital marketing, all while leaning on the deep-rooted historical credibility of the Tata Group.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought. Voltas has proven that intimately knowing your home turf is a literal superpower. So, with such deep-rooted local trust, an intrinsic understanding of the Indian consumer, and massive distribution reach, how can global brands ever hope to completely dethrone India's cooling king? It's a fascinating question about domestic brand loyalty, and one that makes this market absolutely thrilling to watch. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you next time.